Welcome everybody. This is Ava filling in for John. Welcome to Mertech.com's Daily News Update Extra. We are sharing a video snippet that provides no nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth. I am following this channel and given this video a thumbs up. The link to this video is in the description box below. Please follow Mertech on Rumble. Give me a thumbs up and share this information far and wide. This great news update will begin momentarily. Thank you and may God bless.
President Trump publicly weighing in on the growing feud between California Governor Gavin Newsom and Mr. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan. After trading shots back and forth since Friday, Governor Newsom went on MSNBC Sunday night, daring Homan to come and arrest him.
Tom Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his work. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. Come after me. Arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Homan responding later that the NBC reporter Jacob Soboroff set him up with that question.
The NBC reporter that interviewed me very dishonest. We did a 20-minute interview, and he cuts out a little clip and takes my words out of context. Well, here's why I said they have a right to protest. They have the First Amendment rights, but they can't cross that line. They can't cross that line of impediment. They can't cross that line of putting their hands on officers. They can't cross the line of knowing and concealing an illegal alien, because they're all federal crimes. They're in statute, and they will be prosecuted. When he asked the questions that include Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom, I was clear, they haven't crossed the line, but they're not above the law either. If they commit a crime, they certainly will ask for prosecution. That's what was happening. I never threatened to arrest Governor Newsom, so I'm not biting off on that. It's just that reporter's dishonest.
A reporter later asking President Trump if he thinks Mr. Homan should arrest the governor, and right on brand, the president did not hold back.
I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great. Gavin likes the publicity, but I think it would be a great thing. He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent.
Governor Newsom responding on X, quote, "The President of the United States just called for the arrest of a sitting governor. This is a day I hoped I would never see in America. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This is a line we cannot cross as a nation. This is an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism." President Trump firing back at the governor later that day from the White House.
And what crime has he committed that would warrant his arrest? What crime has Governor Newsom committed?
The crime has he committed?
Yeah, to warrant his arrest, as you
I think his
earlier.
primary crime is running for governor because he's done such a bad job.
Governor Newsom might want to check out the latest polls before he posts again, at least when it comes to immigration. CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enton, analyzing the aggregate polling data, finding a majority of Americans are on board with President Trump's immigration agenda.
This is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way underwater at minus 21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points. Now in the aggregate, he is in positive territory at plus 1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration. Trump is begging for a fight on this because he knows what he's doing so far is working with the American electorate.
Enton also describing the polling disparities between Democrats and Republicans on the issue.
The American electorate believe that the Democrats don't have a clue on the issue of immigration. I've got 3 different polls for you across the board. They all tell the same story. Republicans lead on the issue of immigration. You see it here, CBS plus 6. You see it here, CNN plus 6. You see it here, Ipsos, even bigger, plus 19. No matter what poll you look at, no matter which way you cut it, the American public is with the Republicans, and that is why Donald Trump is eager to take on this fight and eager for those scenes out of Los Angeles.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, who says she's on the side of the illegals and not ICE, asked by CNN if Democrats are out of touch on this issue.
Well, I think if you did the polling in Los Angeles, I'm not sure it would be that way, considering we are a city of immigrants. And then people might approve that policy, but do people really approve the federal government coming in and seizing power from a state and from a city. So I drilled down a little further on that poll because I do not believe that Americans support the federal intervention in a city takeover or a state takeover.
Separately, a new CBS YouGov poll also finding a majority of Americans do approve of the Trump administration's actions. 54% approving of the administration's program to deport those here illegally versus 46% who disapprove. Broken down by party, 18% of Democrats, 49% of independents, and 93% of Republicans support the deportation program. The poll also finding 51% of U.S. adults are in favor of immigration authorities searching their community for illegal aliens versus 49% who say they are not. Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA, appearing on Monday's Megyn Kelly Show to weigh in on the divide between the political left and right.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, they feel as if they have an obligation to the lawless. She should be saying, we want LAPD, we're going to go after these riots, thank you for sending in the National Guard. Instead, she's acting like it's a paperwork error. Gavin Newsom is suing President Trump. Again, he should be saying, thank you, President Trump, for sending the Marines and sending the federal government. Instead, we are seeing two high-profile political leaders pander to the most sinister and dark elements of the Democrat Party. And so this really is a early moment with very powerful aesthetics and visuals and optics that shows the two camps in this country. One wants law, order, and a prioritization of American citizens first. The other is an open border, criminal first type agenda that prioritizes arson and the disordered deconstruction of the United States of America.
Coming up, an alleged Sean Diddy Combs victim testifying about her attempts to end the drug-fueled hotel nights involving multiple male escorts. And activist Greta Thunberg's latest publicity stunt ends with a front-row seat to Hamas's atrocities. Every dollar you spend is either supporting your values or working against them. In today's economy, where you spend your money matters. Patriot Mobile is leading the way as America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Switch today without sacrificing quality or service. You'll get exceptional nationwide coverage because, unlike most budget wireless providers, Patriot Mobile has access to all three major U.S. networks. You can even add two numbers on two networks on one phone, something the big guys cannot even do. Stay connected with flexible, unlimited data plans to fit your lifestyle. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you are supporting faith, family, and freedom. And switching is simple. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based team will get you activated in minutes. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/Megyn or call 972-PATRIOT to get a free month of service with promo code Megyn. Make the switch. Defend freedom with every call and text you make. That's patriotmobile.com/MEGYN or just call 972-PATRIOT. Monday marking the 19th day of testimony in the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. On the stand, alleged victim Jane, who is testifying under a pseudonym. Monday's testimony continuing with the jury seeing more text messages between Jane and Combs spanning their relationship, which began in 2021 and continued until his 2024 arrest. The witness testifying that most of her time spent with Combs centered around what they called hotel nights or debauchery, the same prolonged sexual encounters described by star witness Cassie Ventura as freak-offs, elaborate events staged by Combs involving a male escort, baby oil, and typically drug use. A September 2023 text to Combs reading, quote, "I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and makes me feel disgusted with myself. I feel it's the only reason you have me around and why you pay for the house. I don't want to feel obligated to perform these nights with you in fear of losing the roof over my head. I don't want to keep feeling like that anymore." Combs replying, quote, "Girl, stop," then saying they should talk later. Jane testifying that Combs had recently started covering the rent in her new house, quote, "I felt that this debauchery was something I had to do in return to make him feel okay about that." Jane testifying that Combs agreed to go sober for 30 days, but first wanted a sobriety party as a send-off. Jane attesting to not taking drugs that night, which turned into a hotel night with 3 male escorts. Jane saying she vomited after being with the first 2 men, to which Combs said, quote, "Okay, that's good. You'll feel better now," before shepherding her back into the bedroom for ongoing, quote, debauchery with the third escort. Jane testifying to the moment in November 2023 when she learned of Ventura's lawsuit accusing Combs of rape and physical abuse, quote, I almost fainted. In fact, I think I did. I just reacted like, I can't believe I'm reading my own story. Jane messaged Combs, quote, it's all so clear that this was sexual exploitation that you framed as love for your sick fetishes. Jane attesting that Combs did not respond until 2 days later when he called her asking Jane to be there for him. Jane responding, quote, who's there for me when I close my eyes and I have these effed up things in my head? In a later call, Jane testifying that Combs told her he needed her friendship and, quote, you know you ain't got to worry about nothing else, which Jane says she took to be a reference to her rent payments. Jane saying she did not see Combs in person for another 3 months after learning of Ventura's lawsuit, texting Combs in December, quote, I became the side chick and sex worker in my own relationship. Jane did not speak to Combs again until February 2024, when Combs reached out to rekindle the relationship. Jane flew to Miami to meet Combs for her birthday. Jane. That night, too, Combs invited a male escort. Jane testifying that at some point after Combs' homes were raided, he hired a lawyer for Jane. Combs is still paying for Jane's legal representation and her rent. Jane testifying to a day in June 2024 when she confronted Combs at her house, suspecting he had recently been on a trip with another woman. Jane saying the fight escalated to the point that she tried to lock herself in the master bedroom. Combs kicked that door open, so Jane locked herself in the master bathroom, which Combs also kicked open. Jane was running for the front door when, quote, Sean kicked me in the back of my thigh and I fell down. Then he picked me up in a chokehold and choked me. Jane testifying she managed to squirm out of Combs's grip and hid outside for about 2 hours, only going back inside after she believed Combs had left. But he had not left, and the fighting continued. Jane testifying that the fight once again continued, with both parties trading blows. Quote, he started punching my head. He started kicking me. He started saying all kinds of things and just kept punching me. Telling Jane he did not want to end the night in a fight like this, Combs then called a male escort for another night of debauchery. This is unbelievable, people. Jane is expected to return to the stand later today for cross-examination. The judge is also expected to rule today on a motion for mistrial filed by the defense over the weekend. Climate activist and now Gaza activist Greta Thunberg's latest publicity stunt halted early Monday morning by the Israeli Defense Forces. The 22-year-old Swede, along with 11 other activists, embarking on June 1st on a sailing ship from Sicily destined for Gaza, carrying humanitarian aid like baby formula, flour, rice, diapers, medical supplies, and children's prosthetics. The journey, organized by the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, aiming to draw attention to what it calls Israel's illegal blockade of Gaza. Israel began its blockade on Gaza after the terrorist organization Hamas took over the Strip in 2007. Early Monday, as the ship approached the blockade, IDF forces apprehending the vessel, a predictable, expected result. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition's X account posting this attempt at a dramatic video shortly after.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible.
The Israeli government posting their own set of photos and videos which depict their agents distributing water and sandwiches to the flotilla crusaders. Israeli government spokesman David Mencer on Monday providing an update.
The selfie yacht had a really meager cargo, much less than even a truck's worth of aid. But of course, it will be sent into Gaza. For some context, as a comparison, in the last 2 weeks alone, Israel has facilitated more than 1,200 trucks. 1,200 trucks laden with aid to enter Gaza. The very latest figures from Gaza, from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, are that close to 11 million meals, that is 11 million meals, have been delivered directly to Gazans, getting it out of the hands of Hamas. And to those that really do wish to get real aid to Gaza, there are, of course, proper channels. There are organized channels. And to poor Greta, we say, who's really funding Gaza? Who's really feeding Gaza? And who's really feeding their own ego?
President Trump was asked about Greta Thunberg yesterday in the Oval.
Oh, she's a strange person. She's a young, angry person. Anger management. I think she has to go to an anger management class. That's my primary recommendation.
The ship was towed to an Israeli port, with the government saying the activists will be returned safely to their homes, but not before they are shown footage of the gruesome October 7th attack that sparked this war. 1,200 Israelis murdered early on a Saturday morning, hundreds taken hostage, more than 50 of whom are still held in Gaza. Women were gang raped, babies and toddlers murdered, homes lit on fire with the families trapped inside, bodies mutilated and decapitated, and all recorded on camera by Hamas soldiers grinning ear to ear, jubilant and proud at the sight of their inhumanity. Wonder if any of that will leave an impression on Greta. Okay, that'll do it for today's AM update, but I've got to tell you something before we go. I'm going on vacay starting tomorrow, Wednesday, and we're such infants here at AM Update that we haven't yet come up with like a backup plan for all of our staff to the show when we go on a vacay. And so we're going to be doing best ofs for the next week and 2 days. And then we will be live again, back with AM Update and the Megyn Kelly Show live on Monday, June 23rd. So I hope you keep downloading the show, and I hope you keep AM Update in your feed and return to us when we come back, and have a great week while we're gone. Join me back here meantime today for the Megyn Kelly Show. I am Megyn Kelly, and I look forward to providing programming for you live today on SiriusXM Triumph Channel 111 at noon East, on youtube.com/Megyn Kelly, and on all podcast